Hi, everybody. It's Mike from here, the Watchman, and we are back on the air, hunkered down up here in the mountains of Idaho, doing our best to social distance. The new term in the American language that is raging across the country right now. And today I thought what we'd do is try to do something a little different, which is get the truth, because there's
Mm.
so much misinformation out there, disinformation. It's just staggering what is going on in mainstream media. So, what I did was I wanted to find out what's really happening in New York City, not the stuff we see on TV where the military's taken over the city and they're rolling bodies down the street. Not that stuff. I wanted to hear from someone who actually lives there and who has been out and about and who knows what's happening. So I've asked David PAXTON to come on with us today and talk to us. He lives in New York City, kind of.
New York City.
Kind of. A little, let's just say he's right there in the thick of it. David, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, buddy, it's good to be on.
Now, David, first of all, how are you and your family doing?
Well, we're doing really well. My wife being a nurse, we have every natural remedy in the house you could possibly think of, from fresh garlic to red onions to cloves and ginger and honey and um, menthol, vitamin C out the wazoo, zinc. No virus can even. They don't even think about it. They look at the front door, it says Paxton. They're like, nah. Not only that, he's got the Holy Spirit in there. We're not going anywhere near that guy. So we're doing well. So that's it. We do have a family member that may have contracted it, but we're gonna go and get that out too. We're gonna rebuke that via remedy and prayer.
Well, I mean, your wife being a nurse has to be sort of or for most people, would be a frightening thing. I know that for you, because of your faith, you can probably get through that. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And given her position, she can actually work from home, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. Now, David, you were out. You and I talked yesterday, and you went out and about in the city. Did you see, troops everywhere and, body
You bet.
bags?
No, I was actually looking for him. I couldn't find anybody, and they were want to be found. Yeah, the subways were empty, the streets were pretty empty, which is really odd here in New York City. I mean, I've been out 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I've seen 5 times cars on the road as I've seen lately. Did get into an argument with a lady at the drugstore because it was a three-person max in the drugstore. Oh, you got to get out. I was like, that's stupid. Stop it. It's not stupid. You want to get sick? It's like, I'm not getting sick. Neither are you. Stop it.
Well, I
So,
mean, is that the norm in New York right now, that they're limiting the amount of people who can go in and out of what they call essential businesses
yes. So the drugstore had a sign on it, 3 people max.
in the store at
Okay.
one time?
Like, yeah, 3 people in the store. Well, it is New York, so the stores are small.
Oh,
But Home Depot had this. So now get this. Home Depot had a big sign on the doors. We care for your safety, so we're only allowing 100 people in the store at one time. And it's a huge store, so that's not a lot. All right. Meanwhile, I'm standing out in the freezing weather online for an hour and a half, waiting to get in, because that's not going to affect my health at all. Just nonsense that's going on all over the place with the mentality of people. But as far as seeing people driving around and the troops, and I actually went to 3 different hospitals. Okay, uh, from last week to this week, so for a week so far, and we have friends that actually work in the hospitals as well.
and you're not when you visited these hospitals, what did you see?
Well, let me tell you about last week. We went up to Elmhurst, which is the epicenter. The whole world's going to collapse and it's going to, sink hole right into Elmhurst Hospital. We went there and there was 0 people online. Okay, there was a bunch of ambulances sitting in there waiting for calls to come in. Nobody coming in and out of the front door. A couple of homeless people on the bench. Where else are they going to go? Nobody in the park across the street, and plenty of parking. That's weird for New York City. You can actually find a parking spot in the street. So we
That
parked, walked around, and we happened to grab a healthcare provider. And you'll notice I will not tell you what type and what gender because that's not right to share what they shared and letting them be outed. So this healthcare provider shared with us that there were some people in there. Everybody was concerned. A couple of the workers got sick, um, uh, and one of them actually died. One of the workers from it. But when you deeper questions, and the guy that died actually had severe asthma, so it was just a complication of that. Um, the people are in there; they don't need all the respirators. So Cuomo, he's sitting in Javits Center, this bozo Cuomo and his brother Fredo, sitting over there in Jacob Javits Center, piles of equipment behind him. Oh, we need all this equipment. Meanwhile, this healthcare provider saying, why don't they send the equipment over here? We need it here. Because he needs it for the TV set.
yeah, right. It makes a good soundbite.
Yeah, so we need, oh, look at all the piles of stuff we got. And then there was someone else here who actually got a video of the warehouse where they're storing all these ventilators. You picked the 26,000 people that are going to die. Well, that's a made-up number one. And number two, you got them sitting in a warehouse. Why don't you start with those? Okay. And the bottom line is they don't have the chaos that they show on the news. There is an uptick in this because of the heightened awareness of it. So now everyone's aware of it. But in all honesty, it's really not any more than a normal seasonal flu that's out there. It appears to me it's just a lot of hype because everybody I talk to, I have a friend who works in another hospital nearby, and they moved the clinic away from the emergency room because they didn't want all those people in there. Meanwhile, the emergency room's closed off. There's less people in the emergency room now than there normally is. I normally see 4, 5, 6, 10 cars in front of the emergency room off the Van Wyck Expressway here at any given time, day or night. I go there was nothing in the emergency room. But they're like, oh, yeah, the hospital is full of COVID patients. Well, who's dying? Well, no one really died yet. But we do have 2 refrigerator trucks out in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
So I drive around the back. Sure enough, there's 2 giant tractor trailer refrigerator trucks and a guy sitting there having a smoke break with a cart full of stuff. And that was it. Nothing going on there. Drive around the other side. 4 big tents, like circus tents. They were probably 20 feet square, 4 of them. No equipment inside of them. Nobody online. No medical workers. Nobody around. It's like crickets. Okay. The entire side of the street where it's normally jammed with cars, it was wide open with parking again. Remember, it's New York City. You need to sell a lung to get a parking spot over here. And there's nobody online. Drive around the hospital, around, 4 tents, completely empty, no equipment, just empty inside, no people. Refrigerator trucks empty. Guys sitting. And no one really coming in and out inside. So I was like, okay, let's go to the next one. Go to the next one. Similar situation. Tents out in the yard actually have the fence. It's fenced off. They closed the fence gate and locked it. Nobody in the tents. Okay. I go back up to Elmhurst, because now it's a week later. Same deal. They got these, the fences they put on for parades and stuff in the street, and they're 8 feet long. They got those lined up all over the place. Nobody online. Okay. Around to the front. Nobody in the front. It's like a ghost town. And I'm wondering, why is the news? I go on the news and there's ambulances, there's people in body beds, there's footage from Italy showing, this is New York City. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's Italy. And I got nothing. I go there and then you get, the firefighters get on, and I love the firefighters, but I think they got one in particular. I think they scripted him. Yes, we come because he's got like this, and he's got his perfect script to say, oh yes, we're all worn out, and this and that and the other, and We another friend of ours actually got laid off from the hospital. We don't have anything for you to do. Go home. I
Wow. I
thought we
mean,
had this emergency.
that is so, you know,
Bizarre.
totally different than what we see on mainstream media. Because when we see it, especially out here out west, it just and we don't see all we see are pictures of body bags and tired healthcare workers and crowded ERs and things like that.
Mm.
Now, do you think that as a whole, New Yorkers are definitely sheltering in place?
Well, there are definitely two different groups. You go to the park, they're out playing volleyball and soccer, and they're out there, and some people are very upset about that. So you got the groups on either end. The guys say, "What are you doing? You're making us all sick, and you're risking everybody's health, and you're out there." And the other people out there, you're stealing my freedom. I'm going to shoot. And this is where we're living. So the people, they just like, well, we're not going to stay at home just because you said so. We don't think this is real. It's a farce. Even the people that do get it, they're, most of them are recovering. So as far as the virus being real, I think it's real, but I think it was man-made, and I think they're overhyping it, and I think there's some other stuff way deeper behind it because they're telling you, oh, don't go out to the grocery store now. Oh, no, no, stay home, eat what you have. So I think maybe there's something underneath all that that we're not going to get into today. I'm here just to share what's actually happening on the street because we'll be
Well,
here
yeah,
for
yeah,
days.
well, yeah, exactly. Now, let's look at the economic impact here on New York City. We see pictures here of, shops being boarded up, big shops
Mm-hmm.
like Louis Vuitton, things like that, all being boarded up. Talk of civil unrest,
Mm-hmm.
retailers worried that they're going to be looted. Uh, d- is that going on? Do you see that in your neighborhood? I mean, are people
It
boarding it
is.
up?
Um, Everyone, if you have the app, the Citizen app on your phone, it gives you alerts of what's happening nearby. And I noticed since the lockdown, we've had quite a number of crimes, and it went up. I saw one statistic that said that the looting has gone up 75% already in the last, week and a half, 2 weeks, which it stands to reason. Hey, you're going to make sure everybody stays home and they can't open the stores. Well, what's a criminal going to do?
Yeah.
And you're letting them all out of jail in de Blasio's infinite wisdom. Let me let the criminals out of jail because we don't want them to get the virus. Meanwhile, the virus is rampant in the jails. Okay, so everyone's got it in the jails. So they're like, oh, let this guy out. Yeah, I don't care that he stabbed and killed his wife. Stabbed her 23 times. Let him out on the street because that's a good idea. Oh, and if Granny gets too close to someone in the store, you better lock her up in that jail. Because then we'll give her the virus. That's wisdom for you. Such an idiot.
Tell us how you really feel. But, I
I
mean,
think I think he's Big Bird. That's what I really feel.
I mean, it's yeah, like in my little town up here, where of course are we're kind of different up here. We don't like the government telling us anything, but we are doing our best. I obviously am in the studio, but of course no one else is. As always, it's just me.
No dogs?
No dogs today, or I'm working at home, but let's say the restaurants in our town that are left open, many of them completely shut down, do like this takeout only thing. Now, is that what's going on in New York? Because as it goes on up here, these businesses that are doing the takeout only thing, the pickup deal, are just struggling. I mean,
Mm,
there's no way they can pay their rent
they
on
can't.
what they're making based on the number of people that stop by to pick something up. What's going on in the city?
Well, obviously most of the stores are closed except for the drugstores and even a lot of the little food stores, they're called bodegas here, have just closed up. But fortunately, the one around the corner from me's got really good stuff, and uh, they they they've stayed open. And I bought all their pineapple juice. So go somewhere else and look for your pineapple juice because they don't have it. The uh, the pizzeria around the corner closed up. He's like, I'm not making enough on deliveries to warrant paying everybody. So now they're just out of work. Okay, and it's a shame. They've been there for 500 years or something. And the ones that are staying open that are delivering are basically the chains. I guess they got enough money put away where they can ride this out, and people know them, so they'll call, like Domino's. It's open because that's all they do is delivery anyway, and they have a contactless pickup now. Or I won't touch you if you come and pick up your pizza.
Now I saw that there was an ad that I saw for, I think it was Little Caesars, that has this like machine, and you phone your order in, and then you go there, and it's almost like a mail slot. You go and you push a
Or a
number in
vending
there.
machine.
Yeah, yeah, you get your pizza. But uh,
Does it say pizza, pizza?
yeah, it does. As soon as the door opens, right? So when Jeannie and I were there in Long Island, and you were gracious enough to take us around, you took us to a Trader Joe's. Now,
Yes,
are Trader Joe's stores like that? Are they still open?
yes.
Do they
Trader
have
Joe's is
anything in
open.
them? You know?
They are limiting the amount of people at any given time. There's one near the Home Depot over here, and I literally took a picture. The line wrapped around the building, and I'm like, why would you do that? So literally, these people have to wait online for 2 or 3 hours just to go into Trader Joe's, and they limit the quantity of stuff you can get. I had a fight last week with a guy with toilet paper.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And I go, well, it came in on the truck and it's in the back. I said, okay, can you tell me how? I said, I'm not. I said, I just want to know how long it's going to be to come out. You don't have to do that. And he felt bad and he gave me 2 packs instead of just one. But you just gotta, if you learn the neighborhood, maybe a half a mile away. There's this place called Angie's Market, and they're open. They got high quality food, and they got all the stuff that Trader Joe's has. A little bit more expensive because it's local. Nobody there. Nobody online. Nobody there. It's all fresh. They got organic stuff. They got fresh made bread. They got fresh made food. I walk around. This is great. So I told the owner, I said, what you need to do is get some cards and go down to the Trader Joe's and hand it out to everybody online and say your store doesn't have a line and it has a parking lot. So
yeah, I mean like in our grocery store here. I was there. I think it was on Saturday, and there wasn't. I mean, the toilet paper aisle was like gone. I mean, there was nothing. No hand wipes, no hand sanitizer, anything like that. And that's up in a very rural part of the country, which again leads to this panic. There's like three types of people who are going through this. There's the older people, like
mm-hmm.
Gene and I, who have been preparing for a very long time.
Yeah, we
Uh,
learned
and so, I mean, we're in pretty good shape. Then there are the ones that, went out and bought half a truckload of toilet paper because it was on sale, and they have it around the house. And then there's the millennials, mostly millennials, who are like, this is so unfair. I mean, and you guys, especially you people that bought
unfair.
all this stuff on sale, I mean, you should have left that there for us, and
Yeah.
and so,
How about you?
they're
How about you
running
move to
around
China?
from, yeah,
You
they're
have
going from gas station to gas station, stuffing toilet paper into their backpacks, I mean, so, I mean but that's just the world that we live
remember
in.
Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
The cornholio virus. Need more toilet paper.
But
That's what this is. How prophetic was Beavis and Butthead?
now New York is infamous for gridlock and traffic and on the tollways and the highways there. What's it like today?
It's 0 people. It's actually quite nice to drive around in New York now because nobody's out. Yeah, except for the people that are in the park. That's where they all are because they're like, stick it. I ain't going to. Because the stores ain't open. You can't walk on the streets. And, you're driving somewhere. You're just going to go to the park and hang out with your family, which we're probably going to do too. But in all honesty, even though there was a pile in the park, people were staying far apart. It's not like they were, just all over each other. Last week, I saw 2 volleyball games and a soccer game. That was about it. Um, but
Well,
for the most part,
you know,
it's everybody here.
yeah, well, I
Actually,
mean,
just
now here's another interesting thing about New York that we see out here is your Hasidic population, and
hmm
that they were showing a funeral procession, and then they were showing the police come to break up the funeral procession, and then there was a
yeah,
story about a Muslim firefighter that a Hasidic Jew, a teenager, spit on, and then he got the coronavirus and all this stuff. Is there a gap being driven by this between the population of New York and the Hasidic population of New York?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Bible clearly said that when it says nation shall rise against nation, it doesn't say that. It says ethnos against ethnos, and it literally means ethnic groups. And that's what we're seeing. The Antichrist and the powers that be, they want to drive that wedge, and that's part of their Marxist, you know, theology, if you would, is to pit people against each other, and while they're fighting, you go in the back door and take all their stuff. So that's what they're having everybody do. But that being said, it was something crazy because one of their grand rabbis passed away, and they were having a funeral like they always do. And there's like 150,000 of them show up for the funeral, and all wearing the big furry hats, and so the problem with that is the police try and they'll try and bust it up and this and that, but honestly, what kind of description are you going to give? Yeah, it's the guy with the beard, and he's got the beard and the tassels on the side. And he's wearing a black hat, a white shirt, black jacket, black shoes, and black pants. That's everybody. How are you gonna? You can't identify anyone. So they're like, listen, we are taking care of ourselves. We have our own police. We got our own ambulance. We got everything. We'll take care of this. You get out. We're gonna have this virus or no virus. So there's that fight too. But then there's a lot of the Hasidic policemen too that get it, and then they're not doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just interesting the way things get twisted around. Now, your city leadership, let's
Yeah,
just call it.
I don't think we have any.
What are they saying? Is this going to be? Are they saying that things are getting better? Or are they saying things are getting
What are they
worse?
saying today? Because in January they were criticizing Trump for being xenophobic, which is a word no one ever used before Trump got in. They said, "Oh, he's racist because he's blocking people." Now they're like, "Oh yeah, we should have done this earlier." And I got video of De Blasio saying, "Oh yeah, everything's safe. This is just a mild thing, and everybody go out and everybody get around. Don't worry about it. Go eat." And then that drunken idiot Pelosi is down in Chinatown, where she was. Oh yeah, come on out. Everything's great. Don't pay attention to him. The president. Now they're on the other side of it. Well, he's fiddling. Why didn't he act faster? And it's just the dichotomy. And the problem is, people don't remember from one week to the next what these idiots are saying. And they just got through saying, even Cuomo was on the air saying, no, there's nothing to worry about here. Just take it easy. It's going to be mild, probably even less than a regular flu. And then a week later, he's on there saying, well, how come he didn't send me 35,000 ventilators? You know?
Well, are they saying though at this point? Are they saying that the shelter in place order will be lifted anytime soon, or is it kind of this
Well,
like maybe, maybe not?
here's we get alerts. I signed up for the alerts so I could make fun of them. This is the Notify NYC alert for today. New York State on pause is extended through 4/29. Non-essential workforce is directed to continue to work from home until at least 4/29. Okay, so that's nice that they call my job non-essential when it pays my bills and my mortgage and feeds my children and takes care of my house. That's non-essential to them. And Cuomo just loves to hear himself talk. Just talks about the same stupid nonsense, and then he gets, oh, I remember when this did this, and oh, and this did this. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they're gearing him up to replace Biden because he's even more of an idiot. With his gaffes all the time. But then De Blasio gets on every once in a while, and all he does is repeat stuff he heard last week that the president was saying as if it was his idea, and then people laugh at him and tell him to go away. But yeah, there's really no leadership. And then Cuomo and his younger brother Fredo, they're getting out there and they're having a stupid trying to find things to say about their brotherhood while they're on the national news, and we're trying to listen to all this stuff, and I go, oh, remember that time we did? I don't give a crap about that. Get you idiots off the air.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the problem, right
Mm-hmm.
there. I mean, that's where the misinformation and the disinformation comes from. There was a article, I think it was in the Daily Mail UK, about, I believe it's Massachusetts, which is they're initiating something that was done during the Roosevelt era,
Mm.
where when they find someone that has that has the virus,
The
they
cornholio virus.
they send a, I forget what they called them, but I'm calling them watchers. They send them
Mm-hmm.
out there to interview the person and find out every single person that they had contact with, and then they go out and contact those people, and
Oh
so
boy.
it's getting very Orwellian there. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's a
And
little
quickly.
frightening, and then at the same time we hear stuff about, like, well, it's at its peak, or this week is going to be the worst week, and then it'll get better, and there'll
Yeah.
be 3,000 deaths this week. Now, my question, folks, is if these guys, these experts, can determine how many people will die this week, why aren't they billionaires from winning state lotteries somewhere? I
Yeah.
mean, how
Right?
can you pick that number? I mean, and so that's the stuff I think that's driving a lot of this, David. So well, listen, we're out of time, but I want to thank you. We're all praying
Yeah,
that
brother.
you and your wife stay safe there. Try and practice your 6 foot
Yeah.
social distancing. I mean, take a. I think you know what we should all start selling 6 foot tape measures, so you can just
There you
pull
go.
them out and just
Put a
point them around.
or
So.
like a taser that shoots 6 feet
Yeah, like
away.
6 feet away. You come across that line, you get tased.
You get
So
tased.
uh,
But yeah, on our way out, I just want to say that this is really exciting actually for me because I know we're in the end times. We see everything that was written in the Bible. They're trying to take over. We see definitely the possibility of a new world order where they can't you can't buy or sell without the mark. Okay, we see the sicknesses, the plagues. We see the earthquakes. You just had one this week. See ethnos against ethnos. We see everything, and the birth pains are getting closer and closer. And I'm just so excited that Jesus thought enough of me to put me at the end of the movie so I can watch the final results and see what's happening. So we're excited, and we're looking for him to come back, and definitely on the pre-trib side over here. So you know what? Let's look up, brother.
amen, amen. Well, folks, listen, all of you stay safe. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself and your family, and just remember, God's got this. I mean, that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's a very true statement. Your head only has room for one of two things: faith or fear.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to decide which one. Personally, I'm running with the faith side of it, and I know David is too, and I hope all of you are. So we'll see you next time here on the Watchman's Report.